amigos from
Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Now today we're talking about something that's very, very important. It affects everyone's everyday life here in Mexico, whether you live in the biggest city in Latin America or a tiny pueblito.
Now before we get going in this video, we have to take a sip of the very best coffee in Mexico, the finest coffee of all of Mexico. A little hot. No, can't do it. Too hot to drink. Too hot to drink. Too hot.
Now today we're talking all about convenience stores in Mexico, be it Oxxos or little tienditas. And for those of you who don't know, Oxxo is like a convenience store, a mega convenience store. It's similar to 7-Eleven. There are 17,000 of them across the country. And unlike the United States, convenience stores are used here in Mexico pretty much every day, whether you need to grab milk, bread, a coffee like we did today. These convenience stores are truly
put money on your cell phone.
Yeah, pay for your cell phone. You can pay for your bills in convenience stores. You can buy tickets to concerts and events like that. They truly are a staple for everyday life here in Mexico. Now obviously we're here in Oxxo now to start off our day with a coffee. We're going to sort of like compare and contrast what's available in an Oxxo versus a tiendita, such as purchasing tickets or paying for cell phone, things like that, the availability of products, as well as some prices. First we have a staple in every convenience store ever. These are canalitas and they are delicious. Here at Oxxo, a pack is $18.50. Next, sodas in Oxxo, we have Coke sin azúcar is 15 pesos. Regular Coke is 14 pesos, so you pay a little bit more without sugar, but there is a special 2 for 23 pesos on the Coke and Coke Lights here in Oxxo.
Oh, okay, okay.
Most importantly, we have cerveza. 12 pack of Tecate or Tecate Light is 158 pesos, but wait, there's more! It's actually on sale. 12 pack, 120, and you get a free one on the side to drink on your way to the checkout. Now, the amount of things you can do in Oxxo is limitless.
Handstand walk.
No, not limitless. I take it back. So Greg and I first moved to Mexico. We had no idea what an Oxxo was really, but we quickly found through waiting in line to check out that you can pay your electricity bill. I'm pretty sure you can add minutes to your cell phone plan. If you buy tickets to concerts or events online, you can have those printed here. I believe that actually one time we had bus tickets printed. I can't remember where we were, but we had to go to an Oxxo to have our bus tickets printed. So in that sense, it sort of takes convenience store. That's something that I don't know if that exists in the States, and I don't think you can do that at tienditas. I think that's pretty specific to
We'll find
Oxxo,
out, but I don't think so.
The amount of services is mind-blowing to Greg and I.
Now, also mind-blowing about Oxxo is that no matter how many people are working in Oxxo, there's only one cash register open ever. It doesn't matter if there's 7 people behind the cash register and they're just
need to pay bills.
only one cash register open at a time. Must be a rule. Gracias.
Got our coffees, got through the line. It's time to leave the air conditioning. It's time for a beach break.
Without a doubt, the very best thing about the Oxxo, and definitely what it has above the little tienditas, mis amigos, is, oh my gosh. Air conditioning. Oh man, this has never felt so good. You can come to Oxxo to pay your bills, pay your electricity bill, put minutes on your cell phone, or just hang out.
We just come to browse.
Just hang out in the air. Your electricity bill's been too high. No worries, just come hang out in Oxxo.
Now I know for somebody this isn't a big deal, but for us gringos, this is like heaven on earth.
Yeah, we're not quite accustomed to the heat and humidity. Like we'll be in a restaurant sweating our guts out, and I'll look over at a table of Mexicans. Nada.
Feeling fine, having a good time.
Meanwhile, alright, I've got it. I think one way you can think of Oxxo is it's kind of like the McDonald's of convenience stores.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. You know what it is. You're very familiar with it.
Yeah, you're gonna get
the service sometimes.
the service and the selection. I feel like is like kind of like universal across.
Yeah, it's universal. You know, no matter where you're traveling at within Mexico, you pretty much know what you're gonna get at Oxxos. So I think that's a definite upside. They're usually fairly clean, fairly well lit. We were kind of joking about the air conditioning, but they are air conditioned. Whereas like the tienditas, everyone's a little bit different. The most of them pretty much do have all the same stuff, but they're all gonna have different owners. They're more of the hole in the wall restaurant, if you will, of corner stores, of little convenience stores. Try not to get run over. I think I'm crossing, but I don't think we need to cross. So I think that's the major benefit of Oxxos, but them being the McDonald's of convenience stores, the Walmart of convenience stores, obviously I think a huge downside, and something we wanted to talk about, focus on, is it's a huge corporation. You know, it's not mom and pop. You're not really shopping local. Obviously they have local workers there, but you don't necessarily get that feeling like you're helping that family, that your money's going towards that family like you do.
A family didn't really probably open up that store. It's like
not that particular one. I'm sure Señor Oxxo somewhere in Monterrey, which is where Oxxo started, is somewhere. I don't know. I don't know who started Oxxo actually. Somebody very, very wealthy now.
All right, we've made it into our favorite tiendita. We call this one a Güeros because the owner, the guy who works here, everyone calls him a Güero. So
we're at Güeros.
We're at Güeros' place. A couple interesting things about tienditas that separate them from Oxxos. The two that come to mind are they're quite informal in the sense that you can buy one battery or one cigarette, something like that. It's sort of like what we found on the streets in Mexico City with street vendors, but in the form of a little store. The second interesting thing about tienditas is that someone actually in the comments told us that you can sort of buy things on credit. So they just have a list behind the counter, and if you want onions and things like that, produce or whatever you need from the store, they'll kind of make a list, and then when payday comes, you just come and sort of like pay your debts.
We haven't tested that, but
I know that that does not exist at Oxxo, and I think that's something that's really cool. Again, corporation versus like small family who lives in the neighborhood.
And they have arcade games.
Not at all.
Sometimes they'll have gambling machines, which that one maybe is.
One other thing I forgot to mention that's cool about tienditas is the comida casera. They have like little tubs worth of macaroni salad, beans, rice, machaca, like ready, prepared meals rather, and I think that's pretty cool. It's
they're usually
like
delicious.
It's kind of like you can grab beans, rice, tortillas. I think they have tortillas at Oxxo, but I don't think they have the prepared foods like macaroni salad.
And at least this store has a super good selection of fruits and veggies. I don't know the prices, and obviously we can't compare to Oxxo because Oxxo doesn't really have a selection. They don't really have a selection of fruits and veggies, but I don't know if you can tell, I am sweating. No AC in here, but it's a small price to pay. I think an interesting thing about tienditas I've seen is like, it's like the corner place to hang out. Whether it's for the kids, the borrachitos, or us. Whereas like no one hangs out at Oxxo besides us in the area.
Yeah, well that too. But yeah, I kind of agree. It's kind of like a social, like I feel like people come here, almost everyone knows everyone, it seems like.
Now they know us. Oh man. Galletas de guayaba.
I bet those are delicious. Those are like homemade things.
There are a lot of homemade
things in
Oxxo. Yeah, you get more local stuff here.
Gems.
Some beef jerky. A lot of ants. Holy moly. Galletas de nata from Talpa.
I bet those are good.
Some cacahuates japonés made in Mexico. Do you know, like, those Japanese nuts have nothing to do with Japan?
I did know that.
59.
¿Y qué precio tienen en las canales? 13. Okay.
We got the goodies.
What do we get?
We got canalitas. These were 13 pesos, and at Oxxo they were 18 and a half.
Oh, dang.
So those are a lot cheaper, but it gets a little even, the score is even. The Cokes were 14 pesos each here at the Tiendita El Güero. And the beer was 75 pesos for 6. So 150 for a 12 pack of, that's Corona here at the Tiendita. And the Tecate was 120 at Oxxo. So different beers.
It's not quite the same.
But I don't think you can get Corona.
No, you can't get Corona at Oxxo. That's actually a really good point.
It's
If
like
you're,
the same
they don't have Modelo.
The other, yeah,
they only
don't
carry
make
certain
Modelo.
stuff.
Now we spoke with our amigo El Güero here and asked him what he thought the difference between Oxxos and here little tienditas is, and he said basically paying for services. In his mind, that was the difference. He said it's the same sort of like drinks and snacks. They're definitely competitors. Definitely like you would go to one or other for the same sort of things. Also, Oxxo sells alcohol.
Con permiso, pásalo.
Like wine and tequila, and you won't find that here at Little Tienditas.
Yeah, which I found that really surprising. I don't think that's the case in all of them because there's always drunks outside the
I think they must just drink beer.
It must just be the big 40s, the ballenas. Yeah, he said, so basically with the services here, you can do really basic stuff like put money on your phone, where you can do all your banking at Oxxo. I never thought about banking or sending money. You can send money at Oxxo. We talked about getting tickets. I asked him if all the stores in this area were owned by the same owner. He said no. This one on this other corner is. This one on this other corner is.
He said he's seen our videos.
This one on the other corner is owned by the same owner, but other than that, they're all independently owned and operated. So again, more of a family business.
It's like directly impacting. I feel like families here. We've seen El Güero walking around.
Yeah.
I know he works here every day, but I feel like we're like neighborhood friends.
And I think last thing I can think of a lot of the products are the same. The stuff you can get in here is way better. Like they had all sorts of cereals, homemade foods.
I think so too. I think the selection at this
salsas
tiendita in particular is like almost like a mini market. I feel like you could do all of your grocery shopping here because they have like shampoo, everything you could ever need. Yep.
Well, amigos, I think that's kind of a different little video for you, but hopefully maybe you learned something. Cheeses.
Cokes and canelitas.
A lot more of the refrigerated goods in the tiendita are way better.
Let's just say I saw them pulling hot dogs out of a Walmart bag inside Oxxo today and put them directly on a little girl. So freshness first, baby.
Let us know what place you frequent more. Do you go more to a tiendita? Do you go to Oxxo more? I know like in Mexico City, I never saw really like family-owned places like this. The closest this would be was like the little street stands with the cigarillos.
But they didn't have, they sort of had things that you like quickly needed to grab when you're out. I don't feel like they had milk and things like that, but here in Vallarta it's different. I feel like there's a tiendita on every little corner. Whereas Mexico City, I feel like there's an Oxxo on every corner.
Oxxo and 7-Elevens, and 7 and 7. If Güeros had coffee, he would win. But there's no coffee here.
But he still wins.
Well, amigos, until next time.
Have less, do more, be more.